Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Fantasy Pros Dynasty Football Podcast. I am Ryan Wormeli, joined as always by Scott Bogman and Pat Fitzmaurice, and also by 9 of our closest friends. That's right, we are doing a superflex mock draft, Dynasty Startup Draft, live against the listeners. So we appreciate the folks on Discord who saw our invitation go out and signed up to be a part of this draft. Guys, this is one of my favorite types of shows that we do. Really, any mock draft is very fun, whether it's the 3 of us or a whole bunch of other people. But it is especially more fun, I think, when you're going against the listeners and seeing real decisions that are getting made by real people that aren't just the 3 of us sharing our ideas back and forth all summer long. So I love doing these episodes, really. And I'm excited to get going here, Bogman.
Let's go. I'm super excited. Mock drafts are my specialty. ITL, obviously, Welsh and I have been doing them for over a decade. This is what we do with our listeners. We do one every single week, 30-second picks. I'm used to it. It makes 45 seconds feel like an eternity to pick now, by the way. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I love the Superflex format, and these are just the best shows, dude. I always love these.
Yeah, they're super fun. Quick reminder for everybody, and then I'll get the draft going here. All of our 2025 consensus rankings and tiers can be found at fantasypros.com/rankings. From there, you can navigate to our Dynasty rankings as well. And today's live Dynasty Startup mock draft is done using our mock draft lobby over at fantasypros.com/draftwizard. Just like you'll see today, our multi-user drafts allow you to practice quick and fun mock drafts against both real and CPU opponents using the same easy-to-use interface as our draft simulator. While public mock drafts aren't available yet, you can easily run through a realistic mock draft based on your league settings in minutes with our draft simulator. Sync your league for free and try it today at fantasypros.com/mock. All right, I'm resuming the draft here. There is a 30-second countdown, which we'll wait for. While that's going, Fitz, do you have any interesting strategies you're planning to try out today, or just kind of see how the picks fall? You're picking third, I think it is.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do what I usually do, which is the win in year 2 approach. A little bit of an emphasis on youth, and but I'll take a discount on an aging veteran if I can.
I'll be picking 12th, which I did, so it'd be easy. I can make 2 picks in a row and then focus on hosting in between. So I'm probably not going to get one of these elite quarterbacks. I mean, I definitely won't be getting them down at 12. So I'll kind of see how the board lies when it gets to my pick. Bogman, where are you picking?
I'm picking at number 8. I'm hoping there's still a quarterback that I want on the board here. I definitely prefer getting quarterbacks.
Well, 2 quarterbacks go off the board here, 1 and 2. Jaden Daniels going 101. I know that's Fitz's first player on his board, so he is not available at the third pick. Josh Allen going second. Lamar Jackson going to you, Fitz, at third. Third is kind of an easy pick. You just take whichever one of those 3 quarterbacks is there, right?
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, that was it. I mean, Daniels would have been my choice, but totally satisfied with either Allen or Lamar, and Lamar it is.
Yeah, Lamar would have been my choice at 1. So great pick, I think, by you. Nice steal there. Jalen Hurts goes 4, and then Joe Burrow at 5. So we have 5 quarterbacks off the board here. Jamar Chase at 106, the first non-quarterback. This is a super flex format, by the way. We are also not drafting kickers and defenses, obviously, but just to state that for the record, you won't see any of those picks here today. But five QBs and then Chase. Bogman, you're on the clock now. Chase and Neighbors now gone. Did the quarterback you want get to you or no?
No, and I have a grip of wide receivers here after the top 5. So I'm going to take Justin Jefferson. And this is why we mock, right? This makes me feel queasy. I don't like going without a quarterback in the first round of a super flex, but I'm going to try it. We're going to see what it looks like.
Is the 6th pick Fitz the right spot for the first non-quarterback?
I think so. I think there's kind of a drop off after the big 5 quarterbacks. So yeah, I think it is. Frankly, I mean, I think you could justify Chase as high as 4.
Okay.
I think
are you taking him ahead of Hurts and Burrow?
I was gonna say I think you could justify him. Yeah, 4 is like, it's not what I would do, but you can make the case for it.
Right. I'm probably still taking Burrow and probably Hurts too ahead of Chase though. So yeah, 6 seems right.
Man, I'm on the clock. I mean, there's good quarterbacks, right?
But you have to take one.
Because it's such a long drop to the next one. I think I'm going to take the swing on upside with where I'm picking, and May will be the quarterback I take.
Nice.
Mahomes has just not been a great fantasy asset for a while. Great quarterback in real life, obviously. And there's questions about other guys. Caleb had a bad first year. Bo Nix only did it 1 year. Stroud had a rough second year. Herbert in a run-heavy offense. So, I mean, it is planting a flag there. probably a reach technically, but just kind of going with the upside play. And then the second one, since I'm going with the youth and upside, I'm going to take Brian Thomas Jr. at a wide receiver.
Nice.
I like Nico Collins better right now. If I had gotten maybe a more veteran quarterback, I would have taken him. But I just think the runway with Brian Thomas Jr., like I think he's going to be a very, very good receiver for a very, very long time. So it's a very upside, youth-driven first 2 picks. I don't like picking at the end of the startup drafts, honestly. I would have preferred to get like a CeeDee Lamb or one of those other receivers if I couldn't get a quarterback. But I'll take the risky play here with May and Thomas. Bogman, what do you think about that?
It's fine. I'm excited. I get a good quarterback kind of regardless here.
You've got a few guys off the board with all these receivers going up. Puka and Drake London went after my picks, by the way. So yeah, you're going to get one of these quarterbacks.
I mean, since Fitzy has picked, only 3 QBs have gone in the superflex draft. So I'm really enjoying that. And it makes taking Jefferson feel way better to me now.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll just give me the floor. I'll take Patty Mahomes. That's fine.
Getting him close to the middle of the second round.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn good.
That's wild.
Yeah. I felt like the ceiling just hasn't been there in recent years, which is why I went for the upside play with May. But I mean, again, pairing Mahomes with a guy like Jefferson is pretty darn awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
Caleb Williams goes next. Fitz, who are you eyeing here? Do you want to double up on quarterback, get your second guy? Are you more thinking about, let me get a receiver, maybe get Genty if he's there, which is only a couple picks away? Who are you looking at?
Genty and Bowers.
Genty and Bowers.
I want to get one of those guys.
Yeah, I think that makes all. You don't need to justify those, right? I think that makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah,
best
even though it's
prospect, and
even though it's not a tight end premium, I mean, I would happily take. Oh, there goes Genty.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about Brock Bowers for the next 12 years or whatever. You just have your tight end.
Right. It is nice to nail that position down.
Yeah. I really didn't like picking 12th. I expected to like the option. Like I was like, oh, maybe like Neighbors gets there or CD or Bijan. Like none of them went because none of the other quarterbacks that I would have wished would have pushed down those guys went. So,
and I get Bowers. My guy Fizzledala took Amon-Ra at 209, leaving me Bowers at 210.
Are you guys surprised by Amon-Ra falling? I mean, a year ago in startups, he was like a late first, early second. You get him here in the late second. Does that feel like a steal to you, or do you understand Bogman why he's maybe dropping a bit?
I understand why he's dropping a little bit, but I do think that Amon-Ra is one of those guys that it's just like I feel like he's going to be QB proof. So I know people are like expecting maybe a backslide because the change in the OC and all of this, but I don't know, man. There's no one that works harder in the league than Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's going to be good regardless of who's throwing him the ball.
I got to tell you guys, I love the start from Erock here. I mean, I would have gone with a different quarterback, but he gets one of those top 3 with that 101 pick and Jaden Daniels. And then Nico Collins at the end of the second and Trey McBride to start the third. I'd be all over that if I was him. I considered Nico with the 201, honestly. I think any of the receivers that went in the second round, I think he could have justified at the start of the second. And to get Nico at the end, I think is awesome.
Yeah. Agreed.
Pretty sexy start. That's for sure.
Lad McConkey next. And then Fitz, you are the first player to take your second quarterback here. You get Justin Herbert, which I think even in the run heavy offense in the third round of a super flex, I think that's a great pick.
Yeah. I don't like the run heaviness, obviously, but I do think Herbert has a world of talent, and maybe at some point in his career, he will be playing for a, more of a pass forward, a pass heavy play caller. Like he's probably not going to be tethered to Greg Roman for the entirety of his career.
We're starting to see some players stack their quarterbacks with receivers. Joe Burrow manager gets T. Higgins. Jalen Hurts manager gets A.J. Brown. Fitz, is that an approach that you like in dynasty leagues? Obviously, that's a very common like best ball approach. Do you like that in dynasty leagues too?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like I don't go out of my way to stack in dynasty though. We trade a lot in dynasty and stacks don't last forever.
Yeah. Garrett Wilson goes next. I like that pick, getting paired with his college quarterback in real life. I mean, again, with Justin Fields. Boggs, you're on the clock.
Yeah, I am debating here. I'm going to try. I'm going to take Achane here and see what quarterback falls.
So you're starting with Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes, Devon Achane. I'll talk about a sexy start. That's a pretty fun one.
It's not bad. I was debating here because there's some, there's only 2 quarterbacks off the board for those last 4 teams. I'm sure you're going to take one here, Worm.
The plan is to take one. I mean, maybe if it's like only stuck with Baker Mayfield left, maybe I don't, but it doesn't appear to be that's going to be the case.
Yeah, you
Because
still have
Jason just went.
Mayfield, Murray, Love, Purdy, Lawrence, McCarthy, Goff, Prescott still on the board. Like there's still just good options. So I'll wait.
I have there's other quarterbacks that I prefer. I don't hate the idea of pairing Brian Thomas Jr. with Trevor Lawrence.
Not bad.
Yeah.
There goes
Love was going to be my pick. I preferred Love. The fact that he's gone makes me think maybe I lean Lawrence because Kyler, there's just question marks. Baker, I'm worried about regression. And I got to take one, right? I can't wait another full.
Yeah, I don't think you can. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence with one of these picks, pair him up there. And then I'm going to take the discount relative to last year on Marvin Harrison Jr. here and just say 4th rounder in a startup. The talent we thought we were getting, I'm willing to buy in on an opportunity. And I could have paired him with Kyler really here. I could have, whichever of these 2 receivers, the other quarterback I took, I could have paired with, but I went with Lawrence and Marvin Harrison Jr. here. So very much an upside driven start to my team. There is really significant upside there, but not a lot of guarantees with my first 4 here. Breece Hall goes with the next pick, then JJ McCarthy. Bogman, is there somebody that you're hoping gets to you here? I mean, I know you mentioned a quarterback, so Kyler and Mayfield are kind of the top 2 right now.
It's Kyler. I wanted one of Purdy, Lawrence, or McCarthy was my group, but I will settle on Kyler Murray if he makes it 1 spot past.
I would have been really happy with Love if he had gotten to me. He went 1 spot before me. I think that's a good pick. Fitz, what do you think about Love as a pick in the late 3rd round of a startup in a super flex?
I like it. I mean, he had a rough year last year, but I don't know if he was really ever healthy. Sprained MCL in week 1, groin injury that he was able to play through at mid-season, but he was just never healthy. And I think that's why the Packers went with such a run-heavy approach. Now they've given him more weapons with Matthew Golden, Savion Williams. So there's hope.
So Kyler does not get to Bogman. He goes 1 pick sooner. You still go with the quarterback, not Baker Mayfield. You do go for the younger rusher in Justin Fields.
I feel like I have enough floor with Patrick Mahomes, right? So I can take the risk on Fields. So I'll go ahead and snap him up and hope that he keeps this job beyond this season. I think he will. I think he's finally getting a fair shake. So, but we'll see. I am fairly disappointed, but I also, because I'm kind of on the end here too, I guess I'm more middle-ish, but I just felt like I had to take a quarterback. So I didn't want to wait and see, because if Cam Ward and Penix went, then there's just like no one I want left. So
I might have considered Dak with you. I'm expecting a bounce back from Dak this year, and your team is very like win now with guys like Jefferson and Mahomes. But Fields could also be very much a win now guy, obviously, with the rushing that we expect.
Yeah, I think getting a guy like Fields just means I probably need to be higher on my 3rd QB than normal.
Fitz, you take your first wide receiver here. You take Rome Odunze. Travis Hunter goes 1 spot after you. Did you consider Hunter, or were you locked in on Odunze?
Oh, I was locked in on, well, I wasn't locked in on Odunze necessarily, but I just kind of don't want Travis Hunter, quite honestly, because I don't know if he's going to be a wide receiver exclusively long term. Well, we know he's not going to be exclusive, but I don't know if he's going to be primarily a wide receiver long term.
Marion Hampton goes off the board. Rashee Rice, obviously news coming out today about some more of those legal proceedings and looking like he will end up getting suspended. This is a Dynasty startup, of course, so less relevant there. Although you're kind of, tying yourself to a receiver that has had trouble with the law, could come up again down the road. Fitz, what do you think about Rice? Would you have considered, because you do take a receiver with your next pick too, your Devontae Smith, would you have considered Rice if he got to you, or it would have been Smith?
No, it would have been Smith. He's going to miss some amount of time. I do think the Xavier Worthy emergence last year clouds the outlook a little bit for Rashee Rice going forward. I mean, Rashee Rice, Worthy was not established by the time Rice got hurt. He got off to a slow start. He was only playing about 50% of the snaps. Like that, now that he has evolved, like he's going to cut into Rice's target share.
Let's see, a couple more picks here. James Cook, Chase Brown, Zay Flowers off the board. Bogman, you are 1 pick away. Who are you going to get snaked on here?
Well, Jordan Addison was definitely in my queue, so I'm upset about that one. I am debating between a couple running backs here, but I think Jacobs being still on the board is just a bit much. I know he's a little bit older of a back, run first team though in Green Bay. He's still going to have a ton of carries, so we'll go with Jacobs.
I didn't think he was going to get to me. He got really close. I was hoping to get Sam Laporta here at the end of round 5. He makes it all the way to 509. I'm buying in on it was a down second year compared to his insane first year, but I'd be buying in on Laporta if you can get him late round 5. Xavier Worthy goes off the board.
Good value there, late in the 5th.
Yeah, going 9 spots after his teammate, Rashee Rice. So one pick away for me. Probably not going to take a tight end because the 3 young guys that I really like are off the board. Christian McCaffrey goes. That wouldn't have been a pick with the way I've been building this team and kind of a future driven focus. Some players I like available. Just scrolling down, make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. I think I definitely do not go heavy on running backs and startups. I think Kenneth Walker is too good and still young enough that. End of the 5th, I'm jumping all over that every day of the week.
Such a good value.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that one. And then for the other one, I could go third receiver. I don't want to take a tight end. I don't need a third quarterback. There's guys I like. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill is getting older, and eventually I think the opportunity will be there for Waddle. He's kind of perennially a favorite of mine. And just for him as a third receiver, and I feel good about that, especially with the upside. I think there's a combination of floor and upside with Waddle, so I'm happy with that. I really like the Walker pick, though. I'm happy he fell to me. Bryce Young and Jameson Williams, next 2 picks off the board, and Bogman, you're 1 away.
Oh man, Henderson is such a good pick. I almost picked him over Jacobs.
So I almost
surprised he fell back.
I almost picked him with Waddle. I almost paired him with Walker as back-to-back running backs there, and I ended up giving the edge to receiver. But that's a great pick. I totally agree with you.
I have Moore and Metcalf next to each other. I'm going to go with DJ Moore. I have him 1 spot higher.
I want to let
trying to prove you're not a Steelers homer.
While we get these next few picks off the board, I want to let everybody know about Reality Sports Online. By now, most of you have probably heard of Reality Sports Online, the powerful fantasy sports platform where owners get to build and manage their fantasy team like an NFL general manager. But the question is, have you tried it? It's time to go see what all the buzz in the Dynasty community is about. Free agency, multi-year contracts, a rookie draft, multi-team trades, franchise tags, contract extensions, first-round rookie options, automated contract and salary cap functionality, and much, much more. Think it sounds complicated? It's not. The best thing about Reality Sports Online Fantasy Front Office is that it doesn't take any more time than a standard league. It just requires more strategy. Think you're among the fantasy elite? Well, this is the platform to test your mettle. Still not sure? You can test out your general manager skills for free in a mock free agency auction. If you like what you see, use promo code FantasyPros to receive a 10% discount on your team or league today. That's promo code FantasyPros to receive a 10% discount on your team or league today. Fantasy just got real at realitysportsonline.com. All right, some picks off the board. Emeka Egbuka, guy I considered, Terry McLaurin, George Kittle, and George Pickens. So now Fitz, you're on the clock.
I'm taking RJ Harvey.
Such a good pick.
Yeah.
One, a young running back, and one who's going to catch passes. And I think Harvey is going to catch a lot of passes this year.
This is a great area for this rookie class, I think. Like, obviously, Hampton and Genty are long gone, but, Henderson going this round, RJ Harvey going this round. I like those picks a lot.
And Kittle is such a good pick, such a good value here. I know, long in the tooth.
A little older, but still.
Yeah, just such a good value for this season in particular.
Metcalf does go off the board, so we're about to wrap up round 6 here. It's Chris Olave. That's the third receiver for E-Rock. How are you guys feeling about your team so far?
I love my build.
Yeah, not too unhappy.
Don't hate it. That's for sure.
Nice.
I
wonder if, and I really like Drake May, and it's kind of planting a flag on taking him in the first round. I wonder if, knowing the quarterbacks that got back to me, I would have rather gone something like Brian Thomas with Nico Collins and then just taken like Lawrence and Kyler or something like JJ McCarthy and Kyler together in that round 3-4 turn. I'm not sure if I would have preferred that or not.
Jared Goff. That's
go ahead.
Going back, revisionist history is kind of tough sometimes. Jerry Jeudy, Fitzy, interesting.
Derrick Henry, by the way, goes off the board right before Fitz. Clearly a great pick for a win now team, not so much for a future building team. But yeah, Jerry Jeudy fits for you.
Yeah, still only 26 years old. So like we saw an impressive breakout last year, and I'm kind of buying it. Like I was worried that we weren't ever going to see it from Jerry Jeudy, but like we saw the Alabama version of Jerry Jeudy last year, and it was pretty impressive.
Penix comes after that. Cam Ward off the board as well. Colson Loveland, the tight end I was hoping to get to me, does not get to me. K Lest takes him at 707. Bogman, you go with the age and the experience in Mike Evans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking around here, and honestly, one of my picks was either going to be Penix or Ward, and they both went right in front of me. So a little annoyed by that, but I think getting Mike Evans here is just such a good deal with what he can bring for me for the next year, maybe two.
I was going to take Caleb Johnson, but he goes one pick before me. Nice pick for nice putt. Because Loveland is gone and I want to get one of these young guys, I'm going to take Tyler Warren. Could have justified maybe Hawkinson, but because of my build, so youth heavy, so upside heavy, I'm going with the rookie tight end, Tyler Warren, that I like quite a bit. I could use a young running back. Most of the running backs available are not, young guys. They're more of the veterans here. Wide receiver is never a bad idea. Nobody I really like for the third QB. So I'm going to go wide receiver here. And rather than go with pure youth, I'm going to go with a guy who was amazing last year before getting hurt, and that's Chris Godwin. I didn't want to take Tyreek Hill just with the age. Brandon Ayuk, obviously the injury. Luther Burden, a little more uncertain. These are some of the names that were ahead of Godwin in ECR. Godwin, just absolute stud last year when healthy. So if he gets back to that this year, that will prove to be, I think, a very valuable pick.
Yeah, I do wonder for him, like the injury was, like dislocated ankle. That was pretty nasty. Like I hope he's going to be the same guy because he was crushing it before he got hurt, and now he's got target competition, and might not be at full capacity.
Well, let me ask you this, Fitz: is there another receiver that you would have gone instead? Because unless I'm taking a shot on like one of these rookies. It's guys that feel limited in some degree. So
Sure.
I felt like the upside swing on an injury risk as opposed to a different kind of risk was worth it.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I probably would have gone with like a younger guy, but yeah, like Godwin was kind of in the sweet spot, not too old and established. I hope he's the same guy.
Yeah.
Soon.
He's a calculated risk.
Yes.
And he's my fourth receiver, so it's not like I need him immediately. Bogman, you do go with youth at your receiver pick, Matthew Golden.
Well, I took Mike Evans in the last round, so I figured, let's go ahead and get Ricky Pearsall to back him up. And Ricky Pearsall went 2 picks right after I took Mike Evans. So I looked at the rookie class. Like you said, we still have Burton available. We still have Matthew Golden available. So I went ahead with the upside play here. I took the floor in Mike Evans. I think I have pretty good floor with DJ Moore as well. So I better take a swing on some youth and some upside.
I would have taken Pearsall, by the way, instead of Godwin if he had gone 2 picks.
He was never getting back to me.
Yeah, the 2 picks before me were Caleb Johnson and Ricky Pearsall. Those were going to be my 2 picks, and then they went both right before me. So had to pivot there, which is, part of the fun of drafting. Fitz, you go with a different Green Bay receiver here.
Yeah, Jaden Reed. Don't love the pick here, but I don't know. We saw a guy who was pretty exciting in 2023, not so much last year, but again, the Packers did go really run heavy, partly because Jordan Love was injured all season. So I'm hoping it's a bounce back year for Reed, but maybe feels like I'm leaning into trouble here after the Packers added 2 wide receivers in the draft.
Do you guys have a single favorite pick that you haven't made? Not one of yours, but somebody else's that you've seen so far?
Oh,
Ken Walker pick was pretty good, Worm.
Hell yeah.
Very, very good. Very good value.
Yeah. Man, like whoever got Brock Purdy so late.
It's a good one too.
It was like late in the third.
Late.
That was Dan's.
Honestly, that whole stretch, late third, early fourth, Purdy, Love,
Can you pause
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't click it fast enough for you.
All right. Sorry. I was looking at the draft board after you asked me that question. Oh, well.
I apologize for that. How does Pollard stack up compared to the guys you would have considered drafting there?
Not well at all. I wouldn't have picked them.
That's my fault for asking you the question with the on the clock soon. Sorry, I couldn't quickly pause it.
Come on, Worm. Look what you've done.
It's a mock, right?
It is.
We can live within the mock. You're right though, Bogman. I mean, those 30 seconds, it goes fast.
Yeah, it does go fast. You got to be used to it. That's what I'm saying. You got to keep your head on the swivel there. So
that whole run of quarterbacks, so like I was saying, Purdy, Love, Lawrence, McCarthy, Murray in that late third, early fourth in a super flex, I think those are all good values.
I think so too.
That was I'm surprised those guys lasted as long as they did.
I hate every player in this area.
I was just going to say some of the picks off the board, maybe the uninspiring round 9 here. Josh Downs, Joe Mixon, Tony Pollard, which was an auto draft, Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley, Brian Robinson, Sam Darnold. Bogman, you just take complete upside swing with Anthony Richardson here. So much for your sturdier QB3.
Well, I mean, I said I just have to get a QB3 soon. I don't think any of them are sturdy beyond Cam Ward and Michael Penix. So it's just take the most upside.
I know.
Richardson still has the most upside by a lot, I feel like. So
I might have taken a guy like Geno Smith. I think it could at least be good for the next couple of years, just if you're in a win now mode.
I just can't stand Geno. Like, he's a very good quarterback until it matters, and then he throws an interception. Drives me nuts, dude. Like, I'm just not a big Geno stan. He did have his best season ever with Pete Carroll, and they're back. So you have to, there are good things about Geno, and he's definitely safer than Anthony Richardson, 100%. I couldn't stomach him, and if I was going to draft him, it definitely would not be here.
Yeah. I'm going to take who is my favorite for Dynasty, my favorite receiver by far left on the board, and that's Jaden Higgins. Just really like the player. Think he can be very good in Houston this late as my 5th receiver. Like, I love just adding him to that room. With the next pick, I mean, I definitely need a running back, but I just don't like if this was a real league we were playing out, I would be planning to draft running back heavily in rookie drafts upcoming and not, force myself to take one of these guys. I do think Isaiah Pacheco is maybe going too late just because of the injury last year.
It's a good one.
So round 10 as my second running back with how I feel about the rest of the team. If he's really good, he's going to be an awesome trade chip, or he's also still young enough for me to keep him as I'm kind of building for the future. So that late, if I can get Kenneth Walker and Isaiah Pacheco as my only 2 running backs in the first 10 rounds, but I get him in rounds 5 and 10, I'll be pretty happy with that.
I want Cam Scatterboo so bad.
I considered him as just like, hey, take a swing on a young running back here. But like I said, I went with the kind of more proven commodity in Pacheco. You're only 1 pick away, Bogman, so you might get
DVR did it to me before. Come on, don't do it. Come on, guy. Give me my upside play.
I'm trying to think of what very complicated question I can ask Fitz in a few picks when he's about to be on the clock.
Fitz, what is your opinion on the Middle East? Just give him a really complicated one.
But more like, what's the meaning of life or something?
Yeah. Would you be cutting NASA's budget, Fitzy? Is that what you're going to be doing?
Yeah. You got him.
You get your guy Scatterboo. This is your third running back.
I think this is the first mock I've done where I actually get Cam Scatterboo. And yes, he is my third. My other 2 are very, very good. Devin Achane, Josh Jacobs. So again, just like my third or my 4th wide receiver was Golden, my third running back is upside as well.
By the way, I didn't mention this. We are doing 16 rounds in this draft. So I believe it's something like 7 bench spots, theoretically, 3 receivers, super flex, all that stuff. I should have said that at the top. And I forgot. Fitz, you are 1 pick away. Who are you hoping to get here?
I think I'm going to take Keon Coleman. Yeah, you were hoping he'd come back to you, Bog?
It's not realistic, but
Fitz was picking twice before your next pick, Bogman.
Yep. But I mean, I had to decide. I wanted Cam.
Yeah.
So Keon was around, and I grabbed him. Like for full point PPR, like I don't know if Keon Coleman's ever going to be a 70 catch guy, but like there is big play potential. He averaged over 19 yards per catch last year, and great hands, although sometimes he didn't always show that last year. But I like him a lot. I am optimistic that he's going to have a nice year too.
One guy who went several rounds ago is James Cook, and this month, if you want a chance to win a signed James Cook Bills jersey for free, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com, all you have to do is subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now, drop a comment below on any video, and that's it. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can know when new videos are up and to claim your prize. Tucker Kraft goes off the board, Jackson Dart, Tyrone Tracy. One more pick, and then Fitz, you're on the clock again.
Yeah, E-Rocks took Tyrone Tracy. That is who I was looking at for this next pick. But I'm cool with Charbonnet.
Okay, man, get out of my board.
Yeah, he was someone you had your eye on, Boggs.
Yeah, Charbonnet is such a good pick here. Just a good value this late, a better running back than where he's going. He's just blocked by Walker. But
Yeah,
Walker
I agree. That's a really good pick. I want to ask you guys, though, Fizzledala just took Matthew Stafford, which is his fourth quarterback. What do you guys think about that?
Wow.
In startup, Superflex, are you aiming to walk away with 3? Are you aiming to walk away with 2 great ones and one that you don't care about? Or are you willing to take as many as 4, Fitz?
I'm usually stopping at 3. You know, maybe some backups in the later rounds, but it's an interesting strategy. And, you know, you hold a powerful, you are OPEC. You've got the market cornered when you've got 4 quarterbacks. Well, maybe not cornered, but you do wield a lot of power.
I agree. I think you have to be willing to take more quarterbacks, right, in a super flex, because they can give you so much more. I feel like you have to be willing to take them. So I'd be willing to take more than 3 for sure.
4 running backs in a row here. 5 of the last 6 picks: Aaron Jones, Trey Benson, Travis Etienne, and Jaylen Warren. Bogman, you took the last of those, Warren. Would you have taken one of those other running backs that just went if they had gotten to you, or was Warren the guy you wanted all along?
I had Etienne ahead of him, but this group, I mean, the running backs now on the board is so far ahead of the wide receivers that I think we're going to get a lot of running backs going right here. But Warren has a little juice. He's definitely a 2, right? We all think Caleb Johnson's going to lead Pittsburgh, but I think at this point, he's just too good of a value to pass up comparative to what's on the board. There's just no QBs left. The wide receivers are trash, and the top end of tight end is picked apart. So
no QBs. Your boy Jalen Milrose there.
Yeah, starting QBs. So you have Shuck, you have
Wilson. I was gonna say, what do you mean no starters? Tyler Shuck,
Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there are starters, but there are no starters. You know what? We're pick any of those guys. You get your choice.
I probably will not. Certainly not this round. I want to take a tight end. There's actually a number of tight ends that I think are good values at this stage in the draft. Just guys that are upside. So I'm like, you can make the case for Kyle Pitts. I'm going to take Isaiah Likely because I'm reasonably certain he will be the starter next year and is going to be an absolute stud when that is the case. So I think in round 11 for a team that is clearly, built for the future, I love pairing Likely and Warren and just feeling like I've locked up a tight end.
Yeah, that is nice. That is a nice 1-2 punch, and you didn't have to spend a ton of draft capital to do it.
And then I'm going to go, I think with the next pick, I'm going to go receiver because it's PPR. I'm going to go Jack Besh. He strikes me as the type of player that could catch a lot of passes very quickly, actually, in Vegas. So again, I have a lot of receiver depth. He doesn't need to be a star right away for me, but I see him as a very, very strong asset in PPR formats, especially. So him in the 12th, I'm pretty pleased with. Here, Rashid Shaheed goes off the board. By the way, some of the other picks that were made prior to my selections: Jordan Mason, Isaac Guerrero, Cooper Kupp. So we're circling back to Bogman here. You got 4 receivers, Bogman. You got 3 quarterbacks. You do not have a tight end left. There are a few options here if you're willing to take a shot on somebody like Pitts or Kincaid or Ingram. I think could have a good year. Is that something you're considering, or are you still looking at other positions?
No, I'm like Debo is at the tippy top of my board. He has been for 3 rounds. Like, I think I just need to pull the trigger here. So,
Yeah.
because Kyle Williams was my other pick, so Debo
Makes
it
it
is.
easy. Definitely makes it easy.
I mean, he's older, right? But they traded for him. They're going to give him the rock a decent amount. He's also going to run the ball for Washington. I mean, I think it's something that they're more than willing to do. So, you know, maybe it's only a couple seasons. Debo is definitely a guy that has, been hurt and has those extra running back added touches onto his career. So he won't last as long, but he probably should not have been picked around Kyle Williams and guys like that. Like, those are kind of speculation. At least Debo has a decent floor here.
Tight end run coming. I mean, just back to back, but Dalton Kincaid and Evan Ingram do go off the board. Fitz, I presume you're not anticipating drafting a second tight end since you have Bowers.
Correct. Yeah, I would not be drafting one until the latter part of a regular draft. If this was going 28, 30 rounds, I would be taking a tight end somewhere in the 20s, probably.
What position are you looking at here, Fitz? So you don't have a third quarterback.
I'm good. That's where I'm going, Worm. Okay. And I'm going to surprise you, perhaps, with this pick.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, I've talked about this with Boggs. I think there's like a 20% chance that Jalen Milroe hits, but if he hits, he's going to hit big in like maybe a Lamar Jackson type of way. So I'm willing to take that chance. Like, his running ability is special. It's just a matter of whether he can be a competent NFL passer.
Travis Kelce goes off the board one spot later. So obviously, again, this is the same manager who has Mixon and Derrick Henry, like very much a kind of win now approach with a handful of these picks. Rashad Bateman wraps up round 12. So we've got 4 rounds to go. Bashal Tutin, who I considered taking with my last pick just to get some more youth at running back. He goes with the first pick of round 13. So we're almost back to you, Fitz.
Yeah, and I'm going to take Marvin Mims if he
he was in my queue for my next pick.
Yeah, I'm just intrigued by what he did at the end of last season. And I know a lot of it was sort of, schemed up production. They were putting him in the backfield at times and having him catch passes out of there. But, like, if they want to change the role, like, he was a downfield guy in college. He averaged better than 20 yards per catch his last 2 years at Oklahoma. So I think he could succeed in a variety of roles.
I didn't want to take him. I might have taken Kyle Pitts if he got back.
Dude, I was
like, this is just too late, but he goes to Fizzle Dalla in the 13th round.
Yeah, Fizzle got a great value.
I was taking him right here because I don't have a tight end still. I was like, man, Kyle Pitts still on the board. He's kind of one of the last ones.
I like the pick right after too, Javonte Williams, especially if you're willing to trade him. I mean, because I think he could be a good player for this year. And if you end up not in contention, then I think you could trade him for a pick if he is having the year I think he will have this year. I'm very in on him and redraft that cost. Mason Taylor goes. Bogman, I was going to take Dylan Sampson. That's extraordinarily annoying that you did that.
Well, listen, I was going to take Mason Taylor or Kyle Pitts, and they both went ahead of me. So I will pass the buck right on.
That is extremely aggravating. Like, obviously, with the Judkins legal stuff going on, Sampson looking, a player that I already would have wanted to take a swing on in case he gets the opportunity. And now that's even more appealing with some of the Judkins stuff. But alas for me.
Womp womp.
Yeah. I don't really like this player, but in this format, I think a rookie starting quarterback should go off the board by now. So I'm going to take Tyler Shough. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but there have been quarterbacks that I didn't like in previous years that I was proven to be wrong about. And just the value of a starter who was young in Superflex. He's my third QB, right? It's not like I need him to.
Did you say he's young, Worm?
Well, young, maybe not relative than you to his experience, but and then I'm just going to take another swing on a receiver whose talent I like, and that's Cedric Tillman, and hope that the quarterback position is resolved in a way that allows him to shine because I think he's really talented.
Yeah, I was wondering when he was going to go. I mean, he was such an interesting year last year, kind of a mini breakout, and then the concussion problems, unfortunately, that curtailed his season. But man, what we saw, I know some of it was Jameis Winston driven, but he looked pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a good play. I've said this before on the show. I was in Cleveland for that Ravens-Browns game where Tillman just completely dominated. And I maybe it's just because I saw it in person, but I walked away thinking like this guy has the potential to be a really, really impactful player.
Yeah.
Jade on blue, Ray Davis off the board here.
I'm just going to take Jonnu because I have to have a starting tight end.
There's some other tight ends that I like. I mean, Jonnu is obviously we think going to get some opportunity here. I like the rookies though. Like Mason Taylor's gone. I think if you're playing like long term, Arroyo and Terrence Ferguson, I like a lot.
I mean, I'm just gonna at this point I'm gonna have to take 2, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't have 1. So like if Goddard comes back or if Ferguson comes back, like I'll probably invest in one of those guys. So we'll see. I mean, I was thinking about Daniel Jones too because I have Anthony Richardson. So and there he goes.
Yeah. Dobbins goes here.
Well,
Fitz going to the rookie.
Yep. I like A.O. Manor, my guy. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there is a path to targets in Tennessee for him right away. And I love how physical he plays and, not a bad athlete. So
I like that pick, Fitzy. I mean, just take your risk. I mean, what are you losing out on at this point? Deontay Johnson, Marquise Brown, you know what
exactly.
I mean? Like, cares.
And he's been one of my favorites in this class all along.
Wandale's a good pick too this late. I had him in my queue. Bunch of targets last year. So many targets for Wandale last year. What was it? It was, I'm trying to find it. 140 targets and 93 catches. He didn't even have 700 yards. So a lot of that was underneath, but most dynasty leagues are PPR. So Wandale is a nice sneaky value. I almost took him where I ended up taking Jonnu there. Probably should have.
Well, I already have an unwanted Tony Pollard. I might as well nail down the Tennessee backfield.
You have the stack.
Who would you have taken if not Pollard in that spot, Fitz? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't. I think it would have been one of the young receivers. Trey Harris, I think was there.
Some more picks coming off the board here. Russell Wilson, Tank Bigsby. I would have considered it with my next pick. Braylon Allen, Jake Ferguson, Blake Corum. And then Bogman Hugo with the second tight end, Dallas Goedert.
Just double up so I have some options there. I waited too long to take a tight end.
Corum was a pretty good value this late.
Such a good value. That like some of these running backs are really good values right here.
I was thinking about Hunter with my next pick. He goes now. So I'm about to make my final 2 picks. I have 7 receivers. I have 3 quarterbacks. I have 2 tight ends. I only have 2 running backs. So it's clear. Obviously, in a normal draft, we'd have more picks to spend there.
Sure.
It's clear I need to go with a couple of running backs here with my pick. So it's really just like kind of which rookies or second-year running backs do you want to take the swing on with my build? And I'm kind of scrolling down just to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. I think I'll probably take Roschon. I know this is somebody that you're interested in, Fitz, in as a late pick in redraft leagues, and there's an opportunity there if Swift is bad or disappoints. And then there's like a lot of directions you could go. I mean, Devin Neal, DJ Giddens, Debro loves Marshawn Lloyd, obviously. Kendra Miller, Ollie Gordon, Jordan James, Taj Brooks. Like I could go Monangai and double down on the Bears backfield.
You get one of them.
I think I'm going to go with Lloyd. I'm worried about the health, but if healthy, I think he could be good. And Jacobs has a lot of wear and tear on those tires. But really, this is like kind of just a shot in the dark. I could have gone with any of those running backs and felt pretty good about it. But I ended up going with Roschon and Lloyd. But if I had gone with like Neal and Giddens, I'd be feeling equally the same, honestly. Dontavian Wicks goes next, then Giddens. So a good pick there, I think. Bogman, who do you want for your last pick?
Man, Giddens was the guy that I wanted. I don't want any of these losers. I'll probably take Pat Bryant.
I was gonna say if I there are other positions I like better. If I hadn't gone so heavy on receiver early with no running backs, I would have gone like with a receiver or somebody else. I would not have gone running back doubling down.
Yeah, because I like Devin Neal is decent here as well. but I like Bryant. I'm going to go with Bryant. Wide
Jonathan
receivers
Brooks
tend to
does
last
get
longer.
drafted right before you, by the way. Taj Brooks here, Quentin Johnston, A.D. Mitchell. Fitz one pick away.
Who's Mr. Irrelevant, Fitzy? Who's it going to be?
My Mr. Irrelevant, I think it's going to be Jalen Coker if Fizzle
Okay.
does not take him from me. Like I liked what we saw last year. Maybe he could be the full-time slot guy after Adam Thielen finally retires. I don't know. Debro has talked me into him. Like, I think
Throw a
he's
dart. Yeah.
yeah,
That's what
I
I'm
think
doing
he's
with
a pretty
Bryant.
good player.
Yeah. Not bad. I don't know how I'm going to get graded, though.
I can tell you I'm not getting graded well. I guarantee.
Yeah. I don't think we need to spend too much time talking about grades for a dynasty.
These
draft.
guys. Yeah.
I
didn't talk about the grades.
Yeah, I definitely did not get a good grade, a D plus.
Neither did I.
So what I would say about my team, I do want to spend a little bit of time on some analysis, even if it's not the
Sure.
grades specifically. I think a team like mine that I drafted is not a team that grades well after the draft, but I think it's a team with a lot of talent to work with and build towards something, which is generally my goal with drafts anyway. My main thing is not to be the best team in the league the day after the draft. It's to have the pieces to be the best team in the league in a year or two. And I'm a big believer, as are you, Fitz, in a guy like Drake May taking a step forward. I really like pairing Brian Thomas Jr. with Trevor Lawrence. I really believe in Marvin Harrison Jr. taking a step forward. So there's all these pieces that I really am happy with. Tyler Warren, I love. I think he's a top 6 tight end in Dynasty, and I got him in round 8, right, or end of round 7, something like that. So there's a lot of pieces here, but it's not the type of draft that wins the draft and gets the best draft grade, and I'm very comfortable with that in a Dynasty format, especially.
Sure.
How do you guys feel about your rosters? Fitz, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I feel okay, and surprisingly, I got a B plus, which is, when you kind of draft for youth, you never expect to come out of this with a good draft grade. But I like it. I mean, I did feel like I was playing catch up at wide receiver and running back after starting with Lamar Jackson, Brock Bowers, and Justin Herbert. So I felt like I was chasing at wide receiver, which is never a great feeling in a startup draft. I like getting one of those anchor receivers and then, hitting that position every couple of rounds again. So playing from behind there didn't feel comfortable. And, the running back room is kind of a mess. But that's kind of how I build in Dynasty, though. Running backs are usually the final piece of the puzzle for me.
Fitz, you better love my draft. According to our, breakdown here, it says you are one of the experts who likes my draft best. Some of my
I liked the Drake May pick.
Well, that's not even one of the ones listed here. It says your favorite picks of mine are Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., and Isaiah Pacheco.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I knew you would love May.
Of course.
Sure. Yeah, and you got a really nice top of the 10th round for Pacheco. Like, that was a good deal. The dude was playing on a broken leg last year. Like, we have to give him a mulligan.
And he came back so fast. We even heard Deepak
2.5 months.
Deepak Chona talked about it on the Sunday show with me. He said, look, Pacheco's going to come back. He's probably not going to be 100% for the rest of the season. And he wasn't.
Yeah, it was 2.5 months on a broken leg. Crazy.
I said it on the show, to get Walker and Pacheco in rounds 5 and 10, and then to get Warren and Likely in rounds 7 and 11. To have both those positions filled in that way, I'm really excited about that in terms of the value. I would have loved a better quarterback wide receiver setup to pair with those. Where I was picking the draft, it didn't work out with the guys available, but I think those were good values that I'm really happy with, even if the draft grades don't agree.
Yeah, no, you played the tight end thing masterfully, Worm. Like, that is a great 1-2 punch there, and you did it pretty inexpensively.
Take either one of your guys over either one of my guys at tight end, I feel like. So, yeah, you're doing okay.
I'll wrap up the thoughts on my team here, and then we'll move to your guys's. But if Drake May is the guy I think he is, then I'm going to be feeling really darn good about this team. And if he's not, then it's going to look a lot different, and I'm going to need to target quarterback in future rookie drafts. But that feels, it's kind of weird to say about the first pick you make, but that kind of feels like the pivot point in the draft for how my long-term outlook would look for this roster. And I wouldn't have taken him, or at least I might have paired him with somebody else if, again, Neighbors got there. CeeDee Lamb was one pick away. Maybe even Bijan I would have considered running back. Like all the non-quarterbacks that I was thinking I'd get one of them, they all went, and the quarterbacks all fell. So even though May is not ranked 6th, so it's not going to look like a good pick, he's in that range for me, and I'm comfortable with it, but I'm not getting the same value I might have if I was picking in the middle of the draft and could have waited till further in round 2 and gotten a different guy first. So you gotta make do with where you're picking sometimes, and I don't like picking 12th, but you kind of lean into a strategy when you have that. Bogman, kind of walk us through your strategy with some of these core picks and what you think about your team.
Yeah, I really like the build here. And, you guys know that I'm a win faster in a dynasty type of league person. So the initial draft is really good if you are drafting out of that spot, because guys like Mike Evans and Debo Samuel and, these guys that aren't going to be around forever, but they're much better than some of the selections made for this season and next season than the guys being picked around them, and they fall because they're old. So I took advantage of a couple of those. But for the most part, my core is pretty good. I think I got a lot of floor with Patrick Mahomes as my number 1 QB. Maybe I have a QB issue at that second spot if Fields is really bad this year and they decide to go away from him. I played the upside with Anthony Richardson at it. At running back, I've got Achane and Jacobs as my 1-2 punch. Then I have Cam for upside on the bench, along with some decent floor guys or a decent floor guy in Jaylen Warren, and then Dylan Sampson, another upside swing. Wide receivers are great. Jefferson, Moore, Evans as my core, Debo on the bench, Matthew Golden for upside, Pat Bryant for upside. Tight end is the spot that I waited too long on, obviously. Jonnu Smith as number 1 probably makes you queasy. If it doesn't work out, I'll probably be starting Dallas Goedert a lot, but at least I did go back to back on those guys, so I don't leave myself hanging and have to go to the wire for another tight end. I at least have another talented guy behind him, although they're both kind of old, so that's fine. But I really like the way this was built, and I think I should be a contender immediately in this league.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think getting Mahomes with that second round pick was just very nice.
Yeah, you know who else is going to contend right away would be Fizzle. Look at his roster.
Yep.
Yeah.
That start to Hurts, Amon-Ra, AJ Brown, Dak Prescott, James Cook, that kind of core first 5.
Pickens,
Mark
and
Andrews,
he leaned into the veterans, man. Alvin Kamara in the 8th round, like late in the 8th. Cortland Sutton in the 9th was a really good deal.
I
Mark
almost took
Andrews.
Cortland Sutton. That was such a good pick.
Yeah. Now, if you want to look at a youth leading draft, I thought K-Lest had a really interesting draft out of the 7 spot. So he did not take his first running back until the 10th round. He really backfilled with guys like DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne, Najee Harris. Those guys are going to play, though. Like, they'll give him playable guys, and then he took some younger guys late, like Blake Corum and Taj Brooks. But listen to his wide receivers. Malik Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, Teteroa McMillan, Jordan Addison, Emeka Egbuka, Luther Burden.
I mean, that's a master class of value for a long time.
Yep. Now, he also kicked the number 2 quarterback down the road a bit, and he took Sam Darnold right before you took Anthony Richardson, Boggs.
What's interesting with him, though, is, well, first of all, I really like the Loveland pick, too. I think that's an awesome value where he got him in round 7. And to pair that with those young receivers, I think is really exciting. Do you guys think it was the right decision? And we didn't really talk about this in the moment, to take Neighbors over Jefferson. Obviously, we have them close. Like, if you look at the Dynasty Trade Value chart, they are both excellent guys. But I feel like in 9 out of 10 leagues, Jefferson is going to be the second receiver off the board. For him to fall to 3, it really benefited Bogman, I think. Neighbors has all the upside in the world. He's only done it 1 year. There are quarterback questions. Fitz, do you think that was the right call to go? Imagine looking at this exact same roster, but it's Jefferson instead of Neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Jefferson ranked higher, but I don't think it's outrageous.
Okay.
Like, Neighbors was pretty terrific last year. Like, he is the real deal.
Kind of the same deal for me. Exactly. Like, I still have Jefferson ahead, but it's not outrageous.
I do think it's interesting through the first 6 rounds. I feel like there's usually multiple teams that are crazy wide receiver heavy. That just seems to be the pattern that we come across when doing these drafts. Is there's always a few teams that go like, I'm going to go as wide receiver heavy as humanly possible. Kalis was really the only one. Like I was looking at my team, it gives you a positional ranking of your roster. It says I have the 6 best receivers, but I'm like looking around at other receiving groups, and besides Kalis, who obviously leaned very far in that direction, nobody took more than 3 receivers in their first 6 picks. And I feel like there's usually multiple teams that are like 4 or 5 receivers deep at that point. We really only had one. So I look at again, for me, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., Jalen Waddle. Right now, you don't have to rank those at the top, but I think a year from now, there's a chance that's looks like the number 2 wide receiver trio in the league, right? And I think you make the same case for a lot of different teams in this league because nobody leaned so heavily into it like you usually see. It was really just K-Lest fits.
Yeah, we did see kind of a lot of people start with balanced builds where they were, almost everyone had at least one running back in the first few rounds. People were pretty diligent about addressing the quarterback position. So yeah, K-Lest was maybe one of the guys who had sort of an imbalanced build, but left him with a fabulous wide receiver room.
In a real draft, Bogman, that we were playing out, would you prefer, just all things set aside, not thinking about specific player value, win now, whatever, would you prefer a balanced build or an imbalanced build? Because the appeal of the imbalanced build is, that position is set, and you can spend every rookie draft pick, you can spend every trade negotiation, just narrow focus on the 1 or 2 positions you need. Do you prefer that almost like streamlined approach to fixing your dynasty roster, or do you like the balance?
I think you always crave balance, right? I think that's the best thing to have on your rosters, to have enough of everything everywhere. Like that's what you want. I don't hate a draft like this. It just shows you what your priority needs to be moving forward. You have to sew up this second quarterback spot as quickly as possible, which I don't like as a strategy in a dynasty because we've talked about this. Debro makes this point. Obviously, Fitzy makes this point a lot as well. It is so hard to trade for a quarterback in a super flex league. Your resources are just not available, so you always have to overpay. So I think from that position, I don't like being in that spot, but not having a running back after your initial draft is fine. There's running backs that come out every year. There's guys that drop off every year. That's fine. You got the strength of the wide receivers that are going to last longer and bring you more in trades. I think that's pretty good as well. So I want balance. I think everyone should crave balance in their roster, but I don't mind a start like this at all because you can fix it.
To that point, a year ago, I did a startup draft and it's tight end premium. So I did, and it's super flex. So I did quarterback, tight end. I did quarterback, tight end with my first 3 picks. And my 2 best running backs after the draft were Tony Pollard and Trey Benson. Terrible team. I finished in last, but this class was so good at running back.
Now you got Ashton Genty.
Now I have that strength everywhere, and I got to add Genty and RJ Harvey and all these other great late round running back flyers in this rookie class. So, like, to your point, there are guys available in future years. And just 1 year after the startup draft, yeah, it was a really bad first year, but all of a sudden I'm set up really well. That can happen with the imbalanced draft.
Yeah, positional balance is overrated in Dynasty. We make trades 100%. All the time, so you can trade out of imbalance.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts from the exercise here, Bogman?
I always enjoy this. I think it's fun. I think this is I feel like there should be probably some more quarterbacks going earlier, but I like the way the board broke, and I've seen this more and more in super flex mocks, that it's not huddled with quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds, like it's not 20 that go or something ridiculous. So I'm kind of liking it. I'm enjoying it a little bit more and more, but everybody has to be cool, because if that 6th person takes a quarterback, it might get pretty ugly at that position. So if you're picking up front, you have to stick with a quarterback.
Well, it really is really interesting that between the 5th pick in the draft, so 105 and then 302, from that wide range, only 4 quarterbacks went off the board. And to that point, I think it's because
there's depth.
I was going to say, after that top 5, you could argue a lot of different orders for 6 through like 19. It could be personal preference. Like we feel pretty strongly about our tiers. We had a show recently, everybody should go check out, where we ran through our tiers and where we agreed and disagreed. But like, I took Drake May as QB6. You could easily make the case for Mahomes. You could easily make the case for a bunch of these guys, and especially not just the case for those other guys, but the case that the gap between QB6 and QB13 is really as small as it's ever been. in the eyes of a lot of people. So
yeah,
it's surprising because I'm uncomfortable not having quarterbacks early, but it's also not surprising because of the depth. So it's interesting to see it play out this way in real time, as opposed to just theoretically saying there's a lot of depth. People actually reacting with that depth and drafting,
Yes.
because of that. Fitz, any final thoughts from you?
No, I thought our guest drafters did a great job, and I
No
could tell they
dud
were
drafts. That's a good point. Just
no,
That's
and
true.
nobody had a bad draft.
You could tell they were doing a great job because I wasn't delighted with the values I was getting later in the draft. So big thanks to all of them: Erox, Possums, Fizzledala, Awesome Dev, Rice Aroni, KLS, DVR, Dan's Kneecap Cartel, and Nice Pots.
Yes, strong agree. Shouts to all of them. Thank you to all the listeners for watching and listening. We'll go ahead and wrap up there. I don't know if we have any of these more scheduled between now and the start of the season. If we don't, I might ask if we can get one scheduled.
We
just 'cause
should.
They're fun to do.
They're
And I
fun.
want to give other kind of folks on Discord and Twitter and everything an opportunity to participate as well. So I don't know if anything's scheduled. I don't want to promise that we will, but we will at least try and ask and see if we can get one or two more of these scheduled, because they're great shows to do. So thanks to everybody for participating and for listening and watching. For Bogman and Fitz and everybody who drafted, I'm Ryan Wormeli. We'll see you again next time.
See you.